While I would really love if everyone started to use command line text editors, it's kind of unlikely that you're going to use command line text editors for the rest of your life. And so you're going to get into circumstances where you're going to need to transfer files that you've made on your local machine to a remote computer, or alternatively take something off of a remote computer and get it onto your machine. There are a bunch of different visual tools for this. If you're using Windows, I'd recommend that you use something called MobaXterm. If you're using Mac OS, I'd recommend something like CyberDuck. If you're using Linux, you can actually use your file browser for the most part to be able to connect to remote systems and then just drag and drop files around. In the sense that this course is trying to introduce us to the command line, I want to show you some command line tools that you can use to transfer files and folders around. So right now I'm currently connected to Goose still. I'm going to exit Goose by typing exit on my keyboard. This will disconnect from Goose, and now I'm currently on my local system. I'm going to change directory on my Windows machine to my desktop. And what I want to do is I want to transfer this file called kitten.jpg to Aviary. I want to transfer it to the remote computers that we have. So I'm going to type cd desktop. Remember, this is the same command actually that we used for navigating around the file system on the Linux computer that we were connected to as we are on our Windows machine. If you put this kitten.jpg on your desktop in Mac OS, you can actually use the same file, the same command on the command line to change directory to the desktop. Once we're on the desktop, we're going to use a program now called SCP. So SSH is the command that we use to connect to a remote computer to run commands. SCP is the command that we're going to use to transfer, to copy files to a different computer. I'm going to SCP kitten.jpg, and I'm going to press tab on my keyboard. So I'm going to delete most of this. I've typed in KI, and I'm going to press tab, and this will auto-complete that file name for me. On Windows, it says // that says this directory, and this is the name of the file. On Mac OS and Linux, you're not going to see that / in front. The / is fine. To transfer something to a remote computer, you need to know the same information that you did when you were connecting with SSH. So your username, my username is fbristow. Yours is going to be whatever your UMNet ID is if you're connecting to Aviary. The @ symbol, the address of the computer that you're connecting to, or that you want to transfer files to, so aviary.cs.umanitoba.ca. And then really importantly, you need to put a colon after this. So there's no spaces there, it's just the A and then a colon right after it. This is telling SCP that we want to copy it to a remote computer. If we don't have that colon, what it's going to do is copy kitten.jpg to a file that's named fbristow@aviary.cs.umanitoba.ca, but I want to transfer it to aviary.cs.umanitoba.ca. So I have to put that colon there. I'm going to press enter on my keyboard, and now it's just going to ask me for my password. So when it asked us to make sure that we trusted that remote system the first time we connected with SSH, we said yes, and now it knows that we can connect to that without having to type yes again. So here I'm going to type in my password. Same as with SSH, it's not going to show us what the password is. I'm going to press enter, and what this is going to tell us is that we've transferred this file called kitten.jpg to the remote system that we've asked it to transfer to. I'm going to now SSH back to Aviary. So SSH fbristow@aviary.cs.umanitoba.ca. Press enter. I'm going to type in my password and press enter. And I'm going to type in my password correctly this time. So it's prompting me again because I have not typed it in correctly. And now I'm going to press ls on my keyboard. And here we can see that there's this file called kitten.jpg. I'm going to open a new tab in my terminal here so that I have a local thing, a local terminal, and one that's connected to Aviary. Notice this time I'm connected to Falcon instead of Goose. So if I change back to my desktop directory, I'm going to press DE and just press tab on my keyboard. Again, Windows is putting these backslashes in. That's okay. I'm going to press enter. I can actually use the same commands on Windows and Mac OS and Linux to see what's in my current directory. I'm typing ls here, and you can see all the different files that I have on my desktop. I'm going to delete kitten. So I'm going to move this to the recycle bin. And if I type ls here one more time, we're going to see that that file is gone. And I'm going to say to myself, oh no, that was a really important kitten picture. So I want to get it back from Aviary. I know that I transferred it there already. We can use SCP to transfer things back from Aviary to our local computer. So here I'm going to say SCP, and the place that I want to copy from this time is fbristow at aviary.cs.umanitoba.ca. I want to copy from a remote computer, so I'm going to put a colon there, and then I have to tell it the name that I want to copy from. So the name that I want to copy from here is called kitten.jpg, and I want to copy it to the current directory, so I want to copy it to my desktop. I'm going to press enter on my keyboard. It will ask me for my password, so I'm going to type in my password, press enter, and it's going to transfer it back to this folder here. So now I have this file that's called kitten.jpg. We will often want to copy entire directories of things to other systems. So I'm going to change back. So cd, and I'm going to change to the parent directory. So I've gone from my desktop folder back to my user directory. Here, I'm going to try to copy my entire desktop folder to my remote system. So I'm going to use the scp command. This time I'm going to pass it this -r. We saw that -r when we were removing directories recursively with that rm command. I want to recursively copy an entire directory structure over to the remote system. So I'm going to say scp-r, and then I'm going to press the DE, press tab. I want to copy this entire folder to fbristow at aviary.cs.umanitoba.ca, colon. I have to put the colon there. I want to copy it to a remote computer. I'm going to press enter. It's going to ask me for my password. I'm going to type my password in. It's not going to show anything when I'm typing my password in, and that's okay. And now it's going through and it's copying all of those files over to Aviary. This last one's a pretty big file, and I don't actually want it to be on Aviary, so I'm going to hit Control-C on my keyboard, and that says cancel the current command. Stop doing that, please. In the same way that we could pull something from Aviary, a single file, we can do the same thing with directories. So I'm going to delete the desktop part of this. I'm going to hit Control-C on my keyboard. And what I want to show you real quick is that I'm pressing up on my keyboard here to get this previous command back. I'm going to delete desktop here. The first thing that I want to pass to Aviary if I'm copying something from Aviary is the name of the thing that I want to copy. So this is an entire folder that I started to copy. I'm actually going to copy a directory here that's called comp1002. And I want to copy it to this directory. So I want to copy the entire contents of that directory to this one. I'm going to press enter on my keyboard. I'm going to have to type in my password. Press enter. And now it's going to copy everything that's inside of that directory. And if I type ls here, now there's a folder that's called comp1002 on my local system.